We're just being extra.
Hey everybody, I hope y'all are drinking y'all water out there, okay?
It just started off like, wait.
That's
Come
crazy.
on.
Are we not keeping?
No, we keeping this. We keeping this.
No, we cannot.
No, all right, we not keeping it.
But it is important to hydrate. It's hot. It's summer.
It is.
Always. It's hot. It's summertime, okay? Look, we're all feeling nice and beautiful and, just fresh, so clean, honey.
Not all of us.
Welcome.
Intro the podcast. Welcome us.
Welcome to the Just Extra podcast with Jackie and Erica. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Erica. Wow. Good morning, folks. Good afternoon. Good evening, whenever y'all are listening. Quite the conversation behind the scenes. We'll get there. Let us know if y'all would like a Patreon, because we would kind of like to do something like that. We got a lot of juicy details. Y'all think you get them from us now? Sign up for a tiered membership subscription and really see what's happening. All right.
Exactly. We do need a paywall because, honey,
the stuff Jackie needs to get off, we'll just charge that shit for $1. We'll just put up for $1.
Just a good $1.
That's a good $1. Everybody got $1.
You got $1. Everybody
for 12 cents a day. You can get some good content. I don't know. That's what the BET used to show with the little kids with that flying.
All right.
Okay, so we're just going to get started with our extra thoughts. This is the segment of the podcast where we talk about all the things that we didn't talk about in our previous episode. And so our last episode was on girls' trips and vacations. Jacqueline, your extra thoughts.
Well, I just got to say, at the end of the day, girls' trips, whether you're going to the Dominican, you're going to Vegas or Miami, it's just not an uncommon thing for there to be a little bit of drama. At the end of the day, you just got to make sure you're going with people who have the same mindset as you and the same budget. Okay, because I've talked about it a lot in the previous episode that, hey, if we don't have the same budget, we're not going to be eating at the same places. We're not going to be wanting to do the same things, do the same activities. So we're going to have a different vacation. So hence, why are we on vacation together? So that's just, that's just where I'm at with that. I look forward to more girls' trips. I love them. I love spending time and just, getting to know everybody. So, the previous one that we went on recently was pretty fun. And we failed to mention our girls' trips to DC because we did a girls' trip to DC. Yeah. We didn't even talk about that. So,
we had a
this time last year. Yes. So,
go watch it.
We had yes, go listen to it. It was a very good time. But yeah,
a lot of good moments. Hold on from that trip because your girl was having a great time.
You were like the men's in DC. I'm not ugly. That's the part that cracked me up. But yeah, that was an example of a really good girls trip that we didn't really mention in in the previous episode that, could pub that previous episode we did, but we're doing it right now. So listen to We're in DC. That is another version of how you can do a girls trip. It wasn't anything extravagant. It was just 3 girls like, hey, let's explore DC. We haven't really done it like that. And, let's take it on. And I feel like we had a good time because all of us were on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Except that first day, okay? And y'all really spent that day working. I thought we were really playing hooky. But we worked until 3 p.m. I was like, what is this? Why are we on our laptops? I just had mine up because y'all had y'all.
Because we don't want to get fired.
No one was checking for me. Anyway. All right, well, my extra thoughts. So, in our episodes, we typically have an extra segment. We're going to make this a whole episode this time. But in our previous episode, we talked about good old Brittany Renner. Hopefully everyone's doing all right out there. But in that reflection of Brittany Renner, right, in our conversation, I was just like, I think this is like a bigger thing for me because, I am someone who sometimes has to see it blatantly in my face to really just be like, oh, huh, that's what it is, huh? Interesting. I don't know why that tends to be a repeated pattern of behavior. I know I have a catch up that we'll get into next episode, so we'll use the extra thoughts to even tease a future episode. All right. But I am someone who definitely, be having to have all the red flags waving in front of my face, like, for me to be like, oh, it's there. That's cute. And I just don't. I need to dig more into why that is. Um, you know, just to take it back, I know we're at the midpoint of this year, okay? And my word of the year is surrender. All right. And so I feel like I'm constantly trying to hold on to things or like really be like, it's not, say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. And I probably should just be like, oh no, this is the situation. Release into what this situation truly is. And just do more of that. Because I think sometimes I hurt myself when I don't acknowledge what I'm seeing when I'm seeing it. I'm trying to fight for it. I'm trying to always have tons of like control over the situation, and I I don't know. It's just becoming a repeated pattern that I am, becoming more and more aware of. And yeah, I got to figure out why that is. And obviously I know it's connected to something familial, and in that line of like, you don't see me kind of thing, and so like giving other people so many chances to just
Mm.
see me, and listen, y'all better recognize the first time, okay, because y'all about to stop getting second chances. Anyway, thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you.
I think that, I know for me, like, I am a person that, I watch patterns. And so that's why I know for me, when someone asks me, well, why do you have this particular opinion about something or someone? It's not just based off of one instance, because I really I don't like when people make an assumption off of someone based off one incident, because you could just have a bad day, or it could have just been a bad time, so I really wouldn't want to go off of that personal experience. But for me, I like to watch people over time, and then gather that information, and then, lay it out once I've come to my personal conclusions. So I have a friend who, like, when she sees that, she doesn't really like that, because she's just like, well, why are you keeping tabs on me? But for me, it's not even a keeping tabs. It's like, I'm trying to make sure I'm not tripping. And I just want to make sure, like, was that just a one-off thing, or is this something that you do, you know?
We
So,
Yeah, I have
oh,
definitely sorry, we've definitely talked about like, like even the tabs thing of like, oh yeah, you gotta make sure that it's in your awareness so that like you're like, oh wait, actually that wasn't great. Oh wait, yeah, actually that wasn't great. Oh wait, hold on, this is now becoming a pattern. Yeah, and I think in different spaces and circumstances, I think we can all kind of do it. And I think we can, it's we were just talking. I wish sometimes it'd be super malicious, so it'd be in my face, okay, so that I can just
mm-hmm,
take that for how it is, and what is hit like death by paper cuts. It's just like, oh, sometimes you'll just let these
mm-hmm,
like smaller things just like you'll let it slide because it's not that bad. You bleeding a little bit, it's hurtful, you feel it, but for whatever reason, like that's better than a whole like stab wound to the gut. I don't know. Like, and you can
yeah,
keep taking those
but
paper cuts more until you're like,
I'm like, how many paper cuts we gonna be like?
I'm
Ooh, I might
sliced
need to
up.
wear some gloves. Like, yikes. Um, so even with the whole Brittany Renner thing, it's just like, like I said, I've followed the girl for a very long time, and I just noticed that her identity does unfortunately change when she is attached to a guy, and it doesn't. I mean, I guess again, it doesn't. Um, it's not the best thing. I personally wouldn't do it. That's just me, because at the end of the day, once that person is gone or chooses not to be partnered with you, who are you left with? You're left with yourself. And what piece of you do you have left after you've pretty much stripped parts of your identity to be with this person? We talked about it earlier before we started recording. I don't want nobody changing any parts of themselves that they don't feel like they feel very safe with, very okay with. If we gotta do too much maneuvering around our personal identities, honey, I don't want to get involved with that. I'll see you later. Now, me, I would never want. First off, this is just me. I'm not changing my religion for no man. That's just me. Okay, that's just me personally. And I mean, maybe I haven't met the guy that makes me want to change my religion, and I hope I don't, because that is some penis I'm not trying to get involved with. Okay, but again, patterns are important. Um, and that's just who I am as a person. But I think for you, it's just like, I do see that you see your identity within somebody and you want to like defend them because you're defending yourself. Mm-hmm. But I do think there comes a time where you have to kind of separate who you are and how you represent yourself in that person, because these people are going to be who they want to be. Okay. And they're going to show you who they are multiple times. So they're just going to keep it up until,
very grim thought. But like, I sometimes be thinking that like, golly, like, when they say like, all you need is that one good friend. I'm becoming more and more and more just like, yeah, because everybody ain't, everybody is whatever they are. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I want to be able to, yeah, I don't know. I want to be able to ride for things that I believe in and things that I'm like, I feel connected to. And yeah, it's just, sad sometimes when you see like, other things that have you, thinking about things differently, or like, yeah, that there's not always, which I mean, again, that could be fine. That could be fine. And that's not even, I don't know. I'm like, what am I talking about? I don't know. I'm just like, there are,
I feel like I need some more examples from you right
I'm
now.
like, we'll definitely, to preview family things. My sister from the girls trip, my sister, I was talking to her about just like being able to operate in the gray. And I am just like, I don't really want to do that ish. Like I like very clear black and white, like it is what it is. And so I try to sometimes make gray black and white, and not just letting things be. I'd rather it be like, oh no, I feel very clearly about this. And I don't want to have to be like teetering between like how I feel, especially as it relates to like my family, because that's what we were talking about, or like those that are like closest to me. And so I'm like, I don't want to be in gray spaces, but like I consistently put myself out there to try and define what this space is, and I consistently get pushed back into gray. And trying to be more comfortable being like, okay, that is what it is. It is what it is. What it is. Stop trying to make it black or white, and just like accept it for what it is, and then have more control over how I am going to deal with it being how it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, I say, and that's the thing with politics. Once you really, really sit down and really gauge how all of this works, like these two parties are not as drastic as you think they are. There's a lot of gray space that they reside in. I've been like evaluating Obama's presidency, and why did we let a lot of things slide during his presidency as Black people. So I kind of want to get into that a little bit later once I finish my research about that. But you know, just politics in general, I've learned that in order to get to a certain part or just certain level, you have to be either extremist or you have to ride this gray wave so well that people don't know what side you land on.
Yeah,
You know?
which has me even thinking of like leadership in like corporate America. There's so many politics,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm like I'm not for I just I don't know because I'm like I'm not trying
Because
to.
that's right in a gray space as well. You're trying to impress these shareholders. You have to show these employees that you care about them, so they continue to work for you.
Yeah, the thing is it's in my position very opposite. Like I want to be so very clear with leadership of like, yeah, y'all handle the business, whatever. Like, this is from a culture, from a people perspective, how we can whatever grow and whatever. And you got to talk to certain people certain ways, or even having a conversation where like they were like, "Oh, trying to defend that like you should talk to a senior leader differently." And I was just like, "I do not believe that. I don't. Like if a senior leader is interrupting me in the meeting, I'm not necessarily going to be like, "After the meeting, let me go and talk to the senior leader." Like I think I would advocate for myself in the moment, or like advocate for whoever they just cut off or whatever. Like I wouldn't handle why am I treating y'all like y'all are better? Like I wouldn't handle the situation. It's very clear to me that like you are a person, I am a person. We have ideas. We're both trying to meet a shared goal. So like let's like hear each other out. I don't I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, and this is how you handle senior leaders when they start behaving differently, and this is how you handle like the guy who works the forklift. Like no, they should be. Why would I treat them differently? Um, and just trying to advocate that like not like there are better ways to have that conversation or whatever. Anyway, to approach that situation. I don't know exactly what the connection is, but like I can't. I want to be able to call things what they are. I want to be able to. I don't know. I have a lot of control issues that are arising. I think as well.
Hmm.
Um, that I think yeah, I gotta operate more and like let people do what they would like to do and let me do what I would like to do, actually. But I don't like that. I don't want to be me first. I don't want to be very selfish. I don't want to be like, yeah, whatever, whatever. I want to be very like, we should all care about us, but I have to understand that not everybody looks at things where like we all care about us. Anyway, we're a little,
I know we're going to a different side and we're losing the plot a little bit, but I would like to revisit this another day when we talk about, well, when we do our other episode, but we also could do an episode on control issues because I think that they come out different ways for everybody.
Mhm.
And I think the whole thing with you talking about, okay, where can I control, like, where can I like actually put my hands on something and hold it versus like letting it go? When can I speak when I can do for myself or should I think for the collective? You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's a balance that you got to work out. But speaking of politics, we're definitely going to get into it this episode. This is going to be an extra episode, extra episode where we're talking about all of the things that's happening in pop culture and the world. As exhausting as it is.
Does that mean we're technically skipping the catch up? I know we were gonna do like some 4th of July stuff.
Um, what do you think? I feel like we're 20 minutes in. Do you want like an hour long episode? Did you want like a
Listen,
long one?
I'm fine with a short episode because these headphones have been on for 2 hours already too. So
I'm crying. I mean, what did you do for 4th of July real fast?
what I do, I honestly the town was a ghost town. Anytime I was outside, I was like, no one is here. Why am I smoothly driving down these streets? Why is
Girl,
there
they're at
no
Essence
traffic?
Fest.
Okay. I just was like, I feel like Juneteenth is more of like a, Galveston, Houston, like more like, oh, meaningful maybe for the population. And then they go to their middle of nowhere towns in wherever they're from, Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, wherever they're from, and they spend the 4th with their family. That's what I just thought, because I was like, it's empty. But okay, Essence Fest. Yeah, well, I was just bopping around. I went to go see some fireworks. So before the fireworks, we were just like in the area because for whatever reason we thought we was gonna fight some traffic. So we were just like, well, we'll get there first. We'll get our parking spot. We'll just bop around a little bit. So we were just bopping around. We went to Herman Park to see the fireworks. It wasn't really a great show either. Very unimpressive, I think.
What? Not in Texas.
The whole state. Anyway, so so yeah, just some day drinking, kind of afternoon, like happy hour kind of vibes, and fireworks, and that's really it. I ain't do nothing. We've been chilling. We watched Hamilton. Okay, a little festive, right? All right.
A little patriotic.
How was your weekend?
My sister came into town. So yeah, I'm very tired. She has wore me out. Okay. If you guys don't know, my sister is 24 and I am knocking on 33. So obviously our livers are not built the same. We may come from the same bloodline, but I have about 10 years of extra drinking on this liver that she has to build up. Okay. So can I tell you, that girl be going. Okay. I just can't. As soon as she got here, first off, I just got off my shift. And so she's just like, okay, let me do some quick things around the house. Let me just make sure it smells good. Let me make sure everything's clean. And then I'll take like a 2-3 hour nap and then we can just hit the ground running. As soon as I finish everything and I lay down, I get a text. I'm here. I'm like, God damn it. Sorry. And so I'm like, now we got to go ahead and go for it. So she gets here. First off, I Uber her. I'm like, I'm not picking you up from the airport. So this is what your sister can do now. I'd rather just, and question, this is just for the whole entire group. So Hassan, hello, Mr. Dot Forbes, Chill Lounge Network. Nice to meet you. Nice for you to be here today.
Nice to meet you is crazy.
Yes. Can I ask you a question? And this is for everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
Write your thoughts in the comments, okay? But go ahead.
How do y'all feel if the person that you're visiting, you got to the airport and they offered you an Uber to their home? Would you feel offended if they offered you the Uber, paid for it to bring you to their home, or would you want them to pick you up?
I'm not offended.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm not offended at all. Free Uber ride? Yeah, I'll take that.
I want you to pick me up. I mean, yeah, sure. I appreciate the time that we have together. Sure, another little moment, get an extra 40 minutes in. I could see it from that perspective. Is it anything that I would be upset about? No. Thank you so much for getting me. Thank you for offering. Actually, for initiating. I'm sure, it was out of the kindness, it wasn't anything that it was like, you're, listen, now what you really don't want, I don't want no fake promises saying that you are going to get me and then not.
Yeah, okay? I ain't upset that.
Because, listen, Capricorn has said that his sister, before he got here, was supposed to pick him up from the airport and did not show up. Actually was getting her nails done. Oh, I'm actually at the nail salon. Like doing things that you don't have to be doing, which makes me more upset because it's like, what? And then also was like, I'll meet you at the house. I'll let you in. And then guess what? So he got his own Uber, met them at the house. Guess where they were? Not there. Guess where he is?
At the house.
Kind of, but he was like, I've never been here. Like the address took me here and your apartment is kind of like behind this thing. And now I'm walking in the heat around the complex trying to get myself in. Anyway, that's what you don't want. So just appreciate an Uber.
Anyway, so that's what I did for her. And she was just like, yeah, I thought you're supposed to pick me. No, baby, I've been working all night. Okay, 16-hour day. So sorry. How about this? It's just get in the car. Just come on. I got you. and then we hit the ground running. So anyway, first day, drank a lot. Goddamn. Went to like, I don't know where we went. We just went everywhere. I don't know. Everything's a blur. It's just so many drinks. Oh, we went to go get food, and then we went to Bayou Heights, and then we went somewhere else. We just kept drinking, so many drinks. And yeah, then I woke up the next day, and then we just kept drinking some more.
I'm crying. Okay, you
just
met
kept
your
drinking.
match. All right.
Of course, this is a 24-year-old. Like, duh. Like, why would I? Like, I knew I wasn't gonna I was not going to out drink this girl. But she was like, "Come on, Jackie, stop leaving your sister out. You being old. Stop." I'm like, "Girl, please." She's like, "You're not my sister. You have to go ahead." And I'm like, "Stop." And so, what was I gonna say? Thursday. Speaking of which, if anybody watches Love Island, we did a Love Island watch party. So we did that, and then we watched it, and then we decided to continue to go out. So we went to Washington, and then we did this R&B like party. It was actually a decent area. Yeah, Proper Studios did that. Yeah,
I literally just had a thought because I'm like, I've been inside, and then I was like, I don't want to go. But I love R&B. I like that. So that had potential. Okay.
It was good. They actually had a dance floor and hardly no sections. And I love that. It was more floor than sections. And when are you going to see that?
Never.
Okay. So, but can I say it's a little awkward seeing a lot of like Gen Zs standing in the dance floor doing like this. And I'm like, can y'all dance? Like, can y'all shake some ass or something? Like, what's going on here?
The TikTok bops, okay, that get them going.
There was one girl that was really exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That song was not playing, apparently. Okay. I don't know. That's it. Okay, I did what I got. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Why make my heart like this on a call, and someone was like, "Oh, I see you trying to relate to Gen Z," and I said, "I'm just trying to play
I'm trying. Look, girl, that ship has sailed. Okay, we are old.
Hey,
but yeah, I'm just like, can y'all dance? Like, y'all are being real weird." And so my sister was just like, I don't know, I'm not used to like people dancing and stuff like that. And I'm just like, that is so sad. It's these damn phones. These damn phones ruined y'all. But that's fine. But yeah, I went out with her several times. 4th of July, exactly that day, I was like, girl, please, mommy needs a break. So we literally did not get out of the house. Right? I was like,
that's the next day.
No, it's been 2 days because she came in Wednesday. And then Thursday, we did the watch party and just had a long day of drinking, girl. Oh, Lord. We were going to go to Red Lobster to try the new seafood boil to support.
That's right. Yeah.
We was going to support. But she was afraid of the reviews, so we just went to go to Fat Crab. So...
Just mix the Cajun and the butter together, like they said.
I do want to go.
Yeah,
so if you want to go,
it sounds easy, but that shit looked bland as hell from the reviews I saw. It was like, where's the seasoning? Like you see butter, but it's like, all right, where's the seasoning?
Where the rest?
Yeah,
I might, if y'all want to try it out one of these days, let's go. Let's just support
Red Lobster, and yes, I'm gonna support a black anything.
Yeah. So 4th of July for me, we ended up like, I didn't get up till like 3. And then Dolphin's mom was cooking. So I was like, Dolphin, what you up to? He said, going to my mom's house. I'm like, all right, sure, we'll go over there real fast. She can cook. So we got a little plate there. And then we was just like, okay, do we want to go outside? Do you want to go see fireworks? Like, what do you want to do? We kind of like, it's raining too. It's just like, it was like a little off and on with the weather. So we was just like, let's just go in the house. We went in the house and more drinking. My sister was like, you know what, Jackie, you're gonna make me cocktails. So I was making that girl all types of cocktails. Okay. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get you tonight. Okay, you gonna pass out tonight. Okay. I'm pouring it up. Okay, making all the drinks. Okay, making all of the drinks. And she's still going. She's still going. Okay. She's still, she don't stop. And then she wants me to keep drinking with her too. And I'm just like, I'm sick, y'all. I can't go no more. Literally. But I got her good yesterday. So finally got her. I'm gonna say this in the last thing. She said, Jackie, my only goal this trip was to finesse some drinks out of some dudes. I was like, okay, go for it. The floor is yours. She's like, Jackie, you can do it, Jackie, but I want to show you I can hang out with you. I can hang with you. I'm like, I am nobody, baby. I need you to go out and do whatever you got to do. Just know you got it. You know, we went to Off the Record. I was just like, let's go. Here's Off the Record. She's never seen the place before. She really liked the way the place looks. So I met these two guys sitting, chilling. They entertained by us and all that stuff. I'm just like, and yeah, so then she ended up getting shots out of this guy. So shots and drinks out of this guy. So I'm like, okay, we sitting here, we talking for like a good 30 minutes. And I'm like, dang, I really don't want to talk to these guys no more. And so I'm talking to this one guy. He like, so yeah, you coming to Ghana? I was just like, yeah, sure. I already have a visa. Da, 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 da. And then my sister walks up and she was like, Jackie, I'm ready to go to the bathroom. I was like, okay, let's go to the bathroom. But we walked towards the door and she was just like, where's the bathroom at? And I was like, it's actually that way. And I was like, and she was like, well, I actually don't want to be here no more. I'm like, well, the door is right there. So she runs out. She literally like, okay. And she runs out the door. I was like, damn. And not gonna lie, the other dude, he was actually like kind of entertaining, but but the dude she was talking to, I don't know. Actually, they was getting a little handsy, so we both ran out of that thing. So she's running. She's literally like, I did it, Jackie. I did it. I was like, oh God. Oh God, what have I done? She's like, I'll show you I can do it too. I was just like, girl.
I can use these hoes. Watch me.
Exactly. That's exactly how she said it too. I'm gonna make you
proud. That's crazy.
That's exactly what she said. I was just like, is this what it means?
Those are the life lessons you were teaching.
Is this it? Is this all I can? Anyway, so it was good seeing her. Some things I've learned about her this weekend that I was like, yeah, you probably should just make better choices. But it was so nice seeing her though. We'll have updates about that as they come. So
that's lovely. That's lovely. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that gets us into our main topic. We're gonna keep the fun times rolling. Are we having a good time?
The fact that she was just like, I did it, Jackie. I'm like, girl, what? She was really proud. She was really proud.
Okay, well, maybe your sister thinks that you are, a great sister, minus the Uber. But we have some things to talk about if, what it means to be a good friend, right? So there's some things that have hit the internet as it relates to B. Simone. Okay, someone that I have a very neutral opinion about.
Oh, so with this one, you're very...
Yeah, I feel not emotionally connected. Okay, just very like, oh, I know who she is. And I don't really know a lot about her. I know she had the podcast before, like Know For Sure with Megan Ashley or whoever her friend was.
Yeah, Megan Ashley.
And I know that they had a thing that is a falling out. I almost think that, like, I know we're going to talk about B. Simone, but I feel like I wonder what Megan feels about this situation because I feel like she probably would have an opinion. I don't know exactly what happened, but I feel like she would have one. But okay, so B. Simone was talking to some girl. I don't know who she's talking to, one of her friends. I don't know if you feel like you want to tell the story, but she's talking to some girl, a friend of hers, on her new podcast, which I'm like, another chance. Let's try this again. What's it called? And they were having a conversation, and her friend was just expressing to her that, like, she was really going through it financially, that she was having some financial struggles, and it had gotten to a point as low as getting her car repossessed. And I know a lot of people are making a lot of comments on B Simone's reaction to this conversation. It didn't really feel like it was uh genuine. And if people, I feel like people could feel like she was very dismissive. A lot of people, the Jesus is going a little viral. um but yeah, I think her friend was just like expressing that she had to watch, or I think the topic of the conversation is just like, a lot of people think you have it because you are friends with somebody who has it.
Hmm.
And so, she was going through some hard things, and I think it was difficult because she had a friend who was doing well. And she was not doing well herself, and she had to deal with that kind of battle of like what that meant. But she also was like catching herself getting upset at B Simone because she would be helping strangers and not necessarily helping her, right? Like she would be doing a lot of philanthropy, that was
Hmm.
probably like good for her brand, but wasn't necessarily there for someone that is actually like in her life and is like, I don't know, a good friend of hers. And so, the friend of B Simone was just like sharing this story and was basically saying that, like, but that was not my journey, like I had to go through my own thing to get to where I am today. And I had to have my own lived experiences and my own life experiences to get where I am. However, it would have been nice for you to offer. Anything that you have done is always because, like, people have had to ask, right? You don't necessarily feel like you take initiative in helping people. You kind of are like, well, what do you need from me? And that is what you give. And so from my
Hmm.
understanding, that is the story. Not my opinion. I have not given my opinions yet, but like from what I know, this is how they have like conveyed the story. Am I missing anything from what you know about the story? I feel like that's it.
Well, her friend's name is Shekinah. That's what I have for
Is
you.
that the friend that was on the couch with her? Because I thought Shekinah was a bigger girl and a hairstylist.
No, Shekinah, you're talking about Tiny's friend.
Oh, okay.
But there's a lot of Shekinahs.
My bad.
So
I did not know. Shout out to the Shekinahs.
hmm so I think with that, there was also that moment where she talked about, I mean, aside from the struggling portion, when she actually did get opportunities, that B Simone vocalized pretty much, in my opinion, a little bit of jealousy that she was getting an opportunity that, B Simone couldn't partake in as well. Like, she pretty much stated that I came to you, I wanted to share that I got this opportunity, and then you were pretty, and she stated she was pretty like about it, very like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me. And then she called her right back and say, oh, friend, I want to let you know, like, I don't know why why I said it like that. I don't know why I like, expressed it in that way. And so they sat down and said, well, let's go through the emotions. Are you jealous? Are you upset? And she stated, well, I'm just upset that I'm not doing it with you. In my opinion, it's kind of like one thing I will say. What is your opinion about the whole situation? I just wanted to add that little tidbit that was also going viral as well.
Yeah, sorry. There also is one thing that I did also think about, and it was the fact that, like, when her friend was expressing that she was poor, that B Simone had that viral moment that was like, and I couldn't even shop at Bloomingdale's anymore. I had to go to H&M. So
Mm-hmm.
I was also going through my own little hardship. Which to me, my first opinion is like, I
You can
don't
still shop.
necessarily know, correct. Like I don't think I would necessarily compare me having to like peel back a little bit to someone like literally having, like, to me a car is a basic need. Okay?
Uh
Like,
huh.
so you're having a basic need kind of very first world. But like that is something that you don't have access to. I guess I would want to understand before it even gets to a moment of like her car being repossessed, I probably am not someone who is helping you at that moment in time either. I probably would have been earlier on in the situation being like, what's going on? What do you mean you don't have a job? Because other things happen before your car gets repossessed, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that we would have had like those kinds of conversations. And I probably would have been helping you from like that perspective. Like, what are you doing? Let me, like, I'm in HR. You need a resume review. Like, what you need? Like, you need some of these things. Like, what are some of those things that I can help and support you with from like that perspective before we even get to a like car repossession perspective? Like, am I open to someone living with me? I don't know. How bad of a situation? And then do I feel like you have been doing all of the things that like I feel like you should have been doing before you get to a point where I'm responsible for you? Because are you in this situation because you got yourself into the situation, or are you in this situation because really unfortunate things happen to you? Because I am more of someone who is going to give when like just unfortunate things are happening,
Mm-hmm.
versus like, wow, you are making bad decisions and you got yourself into this.
Yeah.
Um, I also don't necessarily also think that I'm someone who is responsible for someone else. Um, I think that like, again, I would have been like, what are we doing ahead of that? But now that we are here, I don't know. Now, do I have millions of dollars? Because that changes the conversation. Me at the level that I am at, I don't have it enough to really be helping. Not really. What can I do in my scope? Yeah. Now, do I have millions of dollars? Is it liquid? Could I at least let you use a spare bedroom? Get yourself on your feet for a month? Like, I think
Mm.
those are some of the things that I feel like, because we're getting into a conversation of like, realistically, what are your friends supposed to be doing to help you? Like, realistically. Um, yeah. And I don't think that at the steps of car repossession is where I would be like, oh, yeah, I don't know. How did we get here? I got questions on how we got here. And then I'm probably helping beforehand. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. What are your thoughts?
I do think that, just because you are in proximity to someone with money does not make you entitled to their money. So, but also at the same time, if I am visibly seeing a friend, and that's the thing, I do think that B. Simone calls everybody her friend. And that's the thing. You got to be wary of somebody who calls everybody that they get in contact with their friend, because I don't think that everyone is a friend. I think there's acquaintances. These are associates, friends. A friend would ask, hey, what's going on, girlfriend? Like, what's going on in your life? Because if I was aware of these things that are going on, because the way she was just talking, I was just like, did I know about that? Jesus, did she know about this? Or is this something that you're just stating to her? Is this a situation where you kept these things to yourself, or you were outwardly like, hey, you know, hey, friend, I'm going through some things right now. And, Beast Mode was just like, all right, girl, well, keep your head up. If you need anything, just let me know. And just out of her personal pride, she was just like, well, I wish you would have just offered instead of me asking. When baby,
I
you the one that got the problems. You got the kids, right? You got to figure it out, right?
I don't mind someone asking me how they can help me. I don't necessarily get offended by that question. I I appreciate you asking how you could help me. I feel like there were takes on the internet, or her take, that was like, I just wanted you to be there, I didn't want to have to tell you how to be there. And I think there are
Hmm.
some things that like, as you know a person, you kind of maybe know how like they want you to show up. But I still also don't think that there's anything wrong with like, how do you need me to be here for you? What kind of support do you need? It's a little random, but there was a thing probably on Reddit or something, that like was like I don't know, what do they do on that? They have threads of like, what would you do, or am I the a hole, or whatever they
Hmm.
do over there. And so they it was a picture of like a big old, it was a pretty decent sized basket of all of these like cleaning products. I don't know, whatever. Hey friend, like, I know you just are getting settled into your new home or blah blah blah. Like, here's some cleaning products. Like, that's what I'm gonna gift you. And the friend was like, "That's not what I wanted. Like, you should have asked me what I wanted because I would have just taken the cash. Like, that's what I need."
Okay, and this is why, I mean, this is why you can't be given to everybody, honestly.
And the friend who gave the basket was very much so like, "Hey, I'm very thrown off by this response. I thought I was being kind, and these aren't Dollar General. Like, I didn't get it from the Dollar Tree. Like, these are name brand cleaning products that I thought that you would like. Like, I spent good money on this, and for you to react that way, I find it very like hurtful. But got it. Like, we no don't even consider me your friend no more. Like, a friend of mine would not respond to me that way.
And the thing is, some people, there's two sides, because there's going to be people who are like, yeah, she probably should have just asked her what she wanted if she wanted to get her something that she would appreciate. And then other side, and this is the part where I resided, and it's like, well, I didn't have to give you shit. So I actually thought about you and decided to create this thing for you. I put some thought and some effort into it. So if you wanted something additional, maybe we can talk about it. But this is just me showing you that I'm caring for you. Here's some Tide. Here's some, that stuff is not cheap. So here you go. Like, I don't know. I would have just said thank you. But now you're over here looking for some cash and all this other stuff. It's just like, baby, I don't have to give you shit.
Right.
But whatever.
I'm with you on that side. So I think again, like, sometimes it's okay to just do, and like, I don't know, I'd be like, thank you so much for doing, but it's also okay. I don't have any issue with people like, now I would never be like, how dare you not ask me? And I got this basket. I'm gonna appreciate this basket because thank you. You did not have to do that. But yeah, I think a lot of people are getting on B Simone right now, and I don't necessarily. I mean, I think it's a good conversation. Like, what does it mean to be a good friend to you? But I don't necessarily look at her and be like, "Oh, she was being a terrible friend." I have more questions. That's like not where my gut goes. I have more questions of like, did she help you before we got to like your car being repossessed, and she just didn't help you at the repossessed state? And then is that a fair expectation to even have of your friend?
I think that if you do need the help and you need the help, and if you are like, once you get to that point of, I would like you to ask me, I think you should probably ask yourself.
Or yes, you should be like, hi, I'm at a point where I need help. So
Yeah.
is this something that you are able to do? I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, because I think when someone comes out of the woodworks and actually genuinely offers something to you, it should be, oh, wow, I didn't expect this. Versus like, dang, I actually would like you to say something. And the fact that you didn't say something, I'm kind of upset with you. When it's just like, you probably should have just asked yourself,
Hmm. Yeah,
like,
because
why are we putting ourselves in that situation?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree because I'm also just like, yeah, if the friend needed some help again, because was she communicating that she needed support, or was she just like, you should be, I'm the main character and you should just be paying me attention and you should be offering things to me, you know? I'm like, well, I don't know. We're all not a mind reader. Are you hiding your situation? Are you being forthcoming? Did we know that you needed some help and support? Because then there is some onus on that end as well of like, speak up. People can't help you if you're not asking for help and assistance. I don't know that you need help, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
In the same vein, I'm gonna just give it to B Simone just a little bit. I don't know. I think when you have that main character energy, you do unfortunately center yourself in your life to the point where you're probably blinded to everyone else's situation. So you're not very considerate of other people's, like, you know, current situation. And so you're just, people kind of feel like, okay, yeah, you're not really here for me. And B Simone is also that person where it's just like, okay, are you not, if you're not supporting me, like, what are you doing here? If you're not serving this purpose, like, what are you doing here as my quote unquote friend? I do feel bad about the whole Megan Ashley situation because it was to the point where, I think wasn't Megan going through a divorce, and then B Simone was like, I can't be here emotionally for you in that way. Actually, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too much. It's just like, dang, this is when you actually should be a friend. And this is where I guess, unfortunately, friendship was just too much for you. You know,
Mhm.
I that's unfortunate to say, but I'll leave that there. Do you have any little remaining thoughts about that?
No, but I would love to talk about like how people show up and like expectations and like what you agree to and transition that to like the Nelly and Ashanti topic.
Mm.
I have not watched their show at all, but obviously there's a clip that people are talking about, where Nelly's like, "Hey, uh, I ain't cleaning no diapers, okay, until that baby can walk and talk, okay? You got it, you got it, okay." And Nelly's like, "You got it, okay, and then I'll come along." Um, Now I don't know their relationship. Again, didn't watch the show. I don't know if they talk about it and like what they agree to or whatever. Um, Now, I was watching, I don't know, but these are Chicago town people, okay? Tone Capone and his show, and
That's
whoever
a
else
name I haven't
is,
heard in a long time.
and whoever else is on that radio show, Zach Bug and On Air Kiki. Anyway, all these people who are now
I'm like,
radio
really?
VJs, okay, in Chicago. I think they have a podcast, or at least they make the radio show podcast. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, I thought Zach on the show had a really good take because he was like, "Listen, she is going to grow resentment for you, okay? If you are not having a fair, unless again, don't know what you agreed to, all right. But if
Hmm.
you're not going to do your part, she is going to slowly resent you not doing your part, and that will build up, and it will be difficult for you to get from underneath that load." Um, yeah, I think that's very fair. And again, I don't know that what their agreement is because maybe she was like totally down for this. We can hire help. All right, for when I don't feel like getting up in the middle of the night. Whatever. I don't
Hmm.
know. Maybe that's just something they've just agreed to. But I feel like for sure I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't sign up for that agreement. I I don't even want to have a child in a partnership. So I definitely don't want to have a child by myself. What?
Hmm.
Okay. Are you kidding? But I feel Nelly on the flip side of like, give me the child when they're like 10. Like that
You said when they can
sounds
walk and talk, when they can tell me what they want and when they want it. Okay.
please.
Um, Okay, so the thing is, I believe that the conversation was had prior to having the child or getting pregnant, because he has grown children himself, and he is of a certain age. He's 50,
50.
and so I actually ended up watching the show. So in between all the drinking, I actually watched a lot of TV during this time.
Gotta
So
recover.
I'm on this couch like, what's going on? He trash. I really was watching it. Um, Now the thing is, if that was the expectation, and he told her, "Hey, it's pretty much going to be your baby. It's our baby, but it's going to be your baby until they can walk and talk." And she decided to still go ahead and have the child. Unfortunately, she has to deal with that because she decided to just go through with it. Now, the thing is, I know some women and well, not say women, there are some people who feel like, okay, I know they're saying this now, but maybe things will change when the child actually comes and you see them. And then you're just like, oh, maybe they'll want to be more involved. And then when you find out that they're actually holding to the things that they said to you, and now you're going to create this, resentment when it probably shouldn't be there. Like, he kind of told you what it was going to be, and you made that decision anyway.
Agreed.
Do
Agreed.
I feel like
But
that's fair? I wouldn't have no child with something like that. Because one, I'm not trying to have a kid with somebody with grown children and who would rather not go through that process again. That's just me personally. I mean, I barely even want to date people with kids anyway. But like, I would want a partner to want to go through this child rearing stage with me. We're both getting up in the middle of the night when the baby's crying. The fact that he states that he's just going to keep sleeping and he calls it a talent that he could sleep through the night when a child is crying, that's a little crazy to say. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's just like, ugh.
So I got a question
Okay,
for y'all.
Ashanti. What's up?
So my question is this, and I'm not trying to give Nelly any bail because I do agree with y'all, but I also do understand them. How do y'all feel
I do too.
How do y'all feel if the person is on the road working all the time, and then he says,
that's not a partner for me to begin with. Again, y'all know I don't want no kids. But quality time is so important. I already told y'all I can do long distance. Like, no. Like some of those careers are very unattractive to me specifically for like the fact that over the road, like absolutely not. I want you to be here. I want us. No, I don't like that ish. Lawyers who could be so busy, like doctors that are, I get the appeal and the stability of lifestyle. I get what that could, mean, but no, I want you to be by me for sure. And I don't want kids like with a partner. So you think I want to do that ish by myself? No, you got to be here. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I kind of can get a little bit of space, so I could date somebody like that. Like, oh, I'll see you when I see you, because I actually do like my alone time sometimes. But obviously not all the time. But I do think that with Nelly, like, I mean, these kids grew up when he was Mr. Country Grammar. So who knows how much time he actually spent rearing these kids, And then he took in his own sister's kids too when she passed away of cancer. So it's just like he's taking care of like a group of people, but it's just like maybe on a monetary sense, just maybe not like a physical, emotional sense. And it's like, you got to realize like, man, this is kind of who I'm settling for. You're not going to get a perfect person. Like, everyone's stated like, oh, I need him to be this, that, and a millionaire. It's just like, I mean, he's there. He's just like, I'm gonna just be sleeping through the night though. Again, does that absolve him from being a shitty, dad? I mean, no, but it's like, baby, if I told you what it was going to be and you decided to keep doing it, like, why am I punishing him?
and
But the
technically
internet is
she wouldn't
beating his
be
ass
doing it
up.
by herself because he did say, "Hey, I will hire some help for you, so you don't have to do this for yourself." I get that, but also at the same time, it's like that's when you build a bond with the baby with those 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning wake ups trying to get the baby to sleep or feed the baby or changing the baby. Like those are like pivotal. God damn it, I can't talk. Those are pivotal. God damn it. Those are things that are those are the important like times of, of that baby's life when you're there and you're calling them and, things like that. So I get it. But also from a, hey, you working, the stuff like that. I don't want you to technically do it by yourself. So I'll go ahead and buy the nannies and all that stuff.
That's a very good point, Hassan, because those are the things that I'd be upset about with my family as well, where I'd be like, you weren't here when I needed emotional support. Yay, I got clothes on my back, okay, and I am eating. But you know what? I actually don't have someone who shows any kind of emotional care for me. And that matters to me, okay? Not saying that I would rather have emotional care over money. Now, let's have both, okay? Um, but yeah, I think you're right. Like from that perspective, that is definitely a loss. I would get upset if we didn't agree to it and I'm doing more of the household chores. You know what I'm saying? Like, did we talk about it? Because I'm keeping tabs on how many times I wash these dishes and you didn't. Okay,
Ooh.
who's actually caring about cleaning this bathroom up? Because it's me. When was the last time you did it? So you think I'm not going to feel that way over a whole human being that is screaming and can't tell me what it wants? What, like, what? Anyway, so yes, as long as it's an agreement,
Yeah.
sure.
Can I say for him though, I think it's a little sad though that the fact that he said that. And so there's that expectation of him not being present for the child. But then at the same time, he's upset that Ashanti is putting the baby before him and he's feeling neglected. But what do you expect? She's doing all this by herself. Of course, she's not going to have time for you.
I mean, also a very valid point. That baby can't feed itself. So yeah, it needs to eat all the time, and therefore I am a life source. So it's gonna be with me. And you didn't want no parts of that part, remember? So we over here. And you gotta be wherever you are, taking care of yourself.
I
Wanted the free
mean,
time.
Technically, the baby ain't eating all day. It does go to sleep, so that could be time for you to, take care of your man.
Yeah. It would, as long as it's not always like, super like top of mind for me to like take care of someone who's not like necessarily helping me. But again, he might be financially contributing, and that's the help, and that gets, the juices flowing and enough for me to feel lubricated enough to be like, yeah, let's do this ish. But sometimes if
Help
you're not
makes
showing
me
up
horny.
correct, hello. Yeah. So speaking of horny, there are a lot of people who are feeling really, really excited and great that they can also be horny, because apparently that's all this case is, right? It's just about the
That's a
freedom to be
crazy
freaky.
segue.
The segue is segueing.
That was your last segue was on point. This one, I was like, wait a minute.
This makes sense, okay? Because what else do you think we're going to talk about other than the Diddy Combs trial, okay? And his verdict that has come out. All right, it does make sense to me.
Not everybody got
a lot
horny.
Of people, yeah. Okay, since we talk about horny, apparently that's all people thought. This was you on trial for being a horny, freaky dude. Okay,
that's it. That was some good smut. They just charged him with a freako, not a Rico. Okay.
Nick, drop the charges.
Bars.
Okay? It was 5 counts, and what happened? He got 2 of them.
Okay, so as you all know, the verdict came out after a long, several weeks. Was it like 7 weeks? So you had so many testimonies. You had testimonies from sex workers. You had testimonies from Kid Cudi, Cassie, Jane Doe. Just,
Freezer meat. Oh, that was a sex worker. Yes.
I was like, this.
You remember? You remember?
Okay.
You remember that one?
Remember that. You know that
name. You forgot the Punisher. You forgot him.
He is. The Punisher is the author of Freezer Meat.
That's him.
Right?
Oh, shit. I thought it was
all right,
nigga.
y'all. So Sean Diddy Combs, he was found not guilty on racketeering and conspiracy. He was found not guilty of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. And that's centered around Cassie Ventura, not guilty. But he was guilty for transportation to engage in prostitution with Cassie. He was not guilty of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion for Miss Jane Doe. So pretty much
2 prostitution counts.
Yes, but he also
sex trafficking and not racketeering.
Yeah. And so the last one is transportation to engage in prostitution. So pretty much he's guilty for flying these girls out to fuck, flying these prostitutes out to fuck, but he's not guilty of saying, well, bitch, I am forcing you to participate in these acts. And how do we feel about that?
There's several different ways that I feel about it. I think I feel opposite of Boosie. I don't think that anybody's trying to take down these black moguls, because they're not getting taken down first and foremost. Because where was his takedown? Because where he get anyway. And 2, Boosie, you are not a part of this group. You get out of the.
First off, Boosie is not a part of my. He is not a part of my orbit. As much as I'm part of like hip hop.
What about Tiny? Okay, what about her writing for him?
The funny part is all these people speaking out about it. Y'all putting yourselves out there.
Like, Like, because Tiny, you and your husband barely got away with that shit. Okay, talking about sucking people's toes and stuff like that. I remember that.
If I was
okay?
T.I., I'd been like, if you don't shut your ass up and delete that shit.
Like, shut up, girl.
Like, we just got out this shit. Like,
yeah,
what
people
are you
just
doing?
trying to get mad at you for being freaky. I can just hear her voice say it too.
and it's like so crazy because like that is not what like when you go back and you read the charges, like read these charges. None of them are on being freaky. Like that is not what the topic of discussion is really on. We're trying to actually
that case was very freaky. Like honey,
I think to me, okay. This is why was not selected. Okay, the podcast, everything that I repost on social media, they knew not to. Okay, ask me to be a part of the jury. Also, don't live in New York. Is that where it was? I just feel like, okay, there were 12 jurors. 8 of them were men. 4 of them were women. And I think that, like, yeah, a lot of people just couldn't get over it. To me, all I needed was the video. The video and maybe a receipt. Maybe a receipt that was using one of his corporate cards for something. And I'm like, and the case is closed to me. Or even if we didn't have a receipt on the corporate card, who were carrying out these acts? Did we get a bodyguard? Did we get anybody that's a part of his team? Like, did we like, to me, it would have been very simple to prove, which is why I'm just like, what were all of the like the debates for? And then how did we also get here? Like, I'm very confused as to how we got here, besides obviously like patriarchy, capitalism.
They didn't really build a good case around the Rico, honestly. They should have actually spent more time like figuring out like if there was actual like network surrounding him actually doing these acts with these girls. But the thing is, it's like the fact that the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, unfortunately, they threw those out because of those text messages and the fact that
at some point she consented.
And that's and the fact that
you can literally be having sex because you consented before, and then in the middle of penetration or whatever's happening, you can say, I don't want to do this anymore, and things should be stopped. You think her leaving the hotel room and trying to get out, and him like beating up on her for trying to leave, like that's not
sex trafficking?
That's not like proof enough. Well, I guess I'm just like, that's like the coercion, that's manipulation. That's, are we not considering the fact that she was 17 when she consented initially, and potentially like several times also didn't consent? And just because we got consent at one point, people are so tied to that. And I can't, I don't know. I also think that they were trying to protect a bunch of other people, unfortunately, which is why they couldn't necessarily go in on like the network of people that are connected, like, because it's a whole enterprise. And that's the thing about it, is like, nah, we might give up one person and that's it, but we not gonna give up the whole network, which is why those are like harder to get. But didn't I thought I was listening to Higher Learning, and someone saying that R. Kelly actually got the Rico.
I don't know. So I can't
I can see him getting the Rico because he probably actually funded and actually had these women like coerce them. So I can see that being a Rico.
Diddy was definitely funding and coercing, and I'm sure he was using his enterprise to do that. I would love to know a little bit more about like how come we couldn't make that obvious. Like, we kept talking about, oh girl,
you're talking about Jane Doe?
No. Which is why we were all like, uh-oh, Jay-Z, don't get in trouble, because wasn't there like a connection between, what's her name? Desiree. Who heads up? Anyway, clearly don't know what I'm talking about, so let's not talk about it. But like, I'm like, I think that there's too much of protecting of people. And I think that potentially limited their ability to get the verdict that we wanted, or the victims. Which is also another thing. Is it's like this is why people don't come forward. Okay, this
And
is why.
that's what makes it hard. I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like the charges that he was getting, they probably should have done better to like create better charges to attach to him, because I feel like some of these were a little too broad and also could be, unfortunately, like defended against. Like, because when you say what is sex trafficking, it's like the act or practice of illegally transporting people from one country or area to another for the purpose of sexual exploitation.
Didn't they try to throw that one out at the end? Which I think was also probably sloppy too. It was like, we're trying to throw some things
Yeah,
out so that you can focus
they didn't
in,
technically throw it out. They told the jurors uh to
focus
not
on.
not focus on the car bombing and the Rico things, and just about whatever the other cases were. So, but
I
yeah,
think
they
the
didn't throw
yeah.
it out. But even then, they found a whole bunch of weapons with serial numbers scratched off. That should automatically got him 20 years. But then they said something happened within that and they took that out.
They said they unfortunately handled the seizure improperly. So I guess it just gets thrown out.
So
All
pretty
So
much they
those.
fucked all that up, pretty much.
I think that's
So
what happened with OJ, right? Like when they did the investigation with him and the whole situation with that Nicole situation, like they didn't properly search the area. So a lot of that stuff was contaminated. So the DNA wasn't really like conclusive. I mean, or but yeah, I do think they probably could have done a little bit better as far as like what they were charging him with, because I mean, the transportation to engage in prostitution. Okay, you flew these people out to fuck these prostitutes. Okay, great. So they said he might get a max of 10 years, but I think unfortunately he's not going to even get that. I think they're going to let him walk, unfortunately.
Yeah, he gonna get time served, a little slap on the wrist, which is crazy
Mhm.
because honestly, even if let's just say they might have found some holes in the process or whatever.
Oh, sorry.
So so if they did find some holes in the process, for the simple reason that y'all not even letting this person post bail because y'all felt like he's in danger to society, I'm not all for just planning people and having them to go to jail for nothing they did. But in this case where you see a video, he's beating on somebody, you're hearing all these testimonies about how violent this person is. Fuck it, lock that nigga up.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like, look, I ain't
Isn't
mad
there
at.
charges for domestic abuse or anything like relating to that? Like, why didn't we
He's probably
hit him with
gonna
that stuff?
he's probably gonna get that outside of that when they go to civil court because he's got to also deal with other shit outside of this. Like, soon as this is over, he got to go right back to court for some other shit, and that's probably gonna be one of them.
I can see that. I
But
can
yeah,
see that.
but yeah,
I'm with
I
you.
would say just lock that nigga up. Like, you already see that he's in danger to society. This is why y'all not even letting y'all denied him bail multiple times. Even now, even when he got those other charges dropped. So yeah, why not just go ahead, just lock him up? Clearly, y'all see he's not a fit for society.
Clearly there's something here that y'all are not comfortable with. And you saw how Carisha Oh my gosh. Did you see that when she posted that on her stories or whatever? It was like Justin Bieber doing this. I'm like, what?
You were silent
Like,
all
girl,
this
you thought he
time, and now
was
you want to say something.
now you thought he was coming out today. I think that it's a shame that he just couldn't get more, but I do feel like from the start I do felt like the case and the charges put against him was going to be pretty tough to prove under certain circumstances, especially after they found all of those receipts and the fact that Jane, he's still paying your rent. Why is he still paying your rent? You know, like what's happening here?
And even
Like,
his first lawyer quit the case. He was like, "Yo, I can't defend him." That should have told y'all something.
It's that, but then it's just like
we're not.
It's like we could. I do feel like there was a lot of distraction. No, there was a lot of distraction in this case, and that I feel like again, the charges, they were too broad for him to have it like a close cut case in, especially like when it came down to that Rico and the sex trafficking.
I disagree. I do not think
sex trafficking.
I don't think that they were broad. I think
sex trafficking in itself.
What they are, yeah, because she didn't want to do these things. I'm just gonna stick with like Cassie in that testimony. It was getting slapped across the room. Like, okay, when the Punisher testified that, like, okay, so I'm here and I'm waiting for whatever, and she don't want to do it. They have to leave. I hear something happen outside the room, and then she comes back in and ready to go. But she did not want to have sex with me. Like, she is doing that ish against her will. That is, yes. Is that sex trafficking? I think that is. So, like, if we were paying attention,
sex trafficking or rape or domestic violence, like what, like
he wasn't raping her, but he was sex trafficking her. Have sex with that man. Do it because I said so. What else is that?
But it also depends on who's he paying. If he's paying him to have sex with her, then that's probably where it gets tricky. That's when you probably.
And also, he said he wasn't even getting paid like that.
You don't pay the sex trafficker. Cassie was she getting paid?
No, she wouldn't get paid.
She was given a lifestyle, but it wasn't an exchange of that. Right. But the thing is, they said the sex worker wasn't hardly even getting paid. He said
prostitution, right? I'm paying the sex worker, right? That's prostitution. I didn't pay Cassie, and she didn't do it with consent. That's sex trafficking. If he was using his enterprise, which no. I know I didn't see it with my eyes, but just like I said at the top, okay. How else is this happening? So we know that we can pursue the Rico. And I think that people want to pay attention to smaller details.
They're not small details because it's like, these are the things. So it's just like, okay, in order to prove that this is not anything of consent, we have to make sure we can't find anything of consent. And you have her saying, I want this, daddy. Consent. I could do a freak off today.
You only need to provide that you're not consenting one time. I can consent 100 times, and the 101th time that I do not consent and you're still forcing me, that doesn't matter. That was fine before.
And that is true. So, but we can't act like these are the things when they have these things on paper. First off, I'm saying no in person versus me saying, yes, I want it on text. You're literally sitting up as like a jury, and you're just like, okay, well, she said she didn't want to do it, but then on this one, she says she did.
Of her
walking away,
right,
and then getting dragged back, but it's just like that is more so.
That one doesn't prove. What's the name? That doesn't prove that. That proves it was domestic violence, but it doesn't prove because you don't know why he's doing that for a reason. That what you was talking about with that. What you was talking about with that. What that sex worker saying like, yeah, she didn't want to do it and they went in the room. That probably wasn't that same day. That probably was a different day that happened. So yeah, I get it when it comes to, that's a domestic violence issue. But as far as sex trafficking, that may not be a sex trafficking issue.
I disagree.
But yeah, it's like, but again, like I said, the definition of is illegally transporting somebody for the purpose of sex. Sexual exploitation
on the case.
No, it's just more so the situation. It's more the situation of like, if in order for things to be, because you're saying this should have been an open and closed case, and I'm trying to tell you like this is what they had to like pretty much go against and have to like, okay, what is this actual definition versus actually what is it, So it's like, again, I understand what you're saying. I really do.
And I really know, and I understand that proves the definition. I only need to see it one time. Now, just because it wasn't every single time for 10 years, every single interaction they ever had, she said no, all of them, and so because that doesn't exist, we can't get you on it. Like, so you're telling me I gotta be beat 15 times before you do anything
No,
about
it
so I'm
doesn't.
just
It
understanding, like,
doesn't. It's
how
just
many
hard
times.
to, when you cheat on your boyfriend, you actively left the relationship, but then you're cheating on your boyfriend with the same person that you said allegedly sex trafficked you. You know,
And
there's
was also
things where
raped.
just
And I
yes,
understand.
and it's like, why aren't we charging him with stuff like that versus like this particular situation? That's what I'm saying. They needed better charges for things to stick, in my opinion,
So a
because
better
he obviously.
So I'm with Jackie. So a better example of that was they were talking about how Cassie's singing career was on hold because of that. They also mentioned that, like, she was trying to put out stuff, but she couldn't because pretty much he put in a word like, "Hey, don't work with her because whatever the case may be." Now that can be a good example of what's the name? Because sex trafficking, because you're holding somebody against their will or not halting their career or something like that. You're holding some over their head if they don't particularly do this. Now, yeah, that'll be a good example of that.
How come that's also not Rico, where you're using your network and your weight and like your enterprise to also like create crimes? I'm using my network of people to
Yeah, I
ensure that
agree
I
with you on
can.
that. That's where they messed up
So
at. So that, yes, that should have been in theirs as well
okay.
too. Even the guns stuff like that, but they mishandled that. Like, yeah, now that example, yes, I give you that. That should have been there.
I think that if we had a court system, which I'm not advocating for, I do think that like we need to pick our jurors better. But I
We
would
need a
not want
better
one
system in
judge
itself.
to be able to make a decision over it. I do appreciate the peers, but I feel like if the judge made a decision where that it would have been different. I think the judge would have seen it differently than whoever these 12 people were. Because there's so much that are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Do we want to give him all of this because of whatever? Like, we should just keep it right here. Where like, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? What I don't
Well,
understand. When we have evidence and you see that one that I only need to see one instance of each of them. Okay, I
mhm.
see the instance of each of them. Yeah,
But
you
again,
did
you're
that
putting
ish.
one instance on a broad topic
That a
versus like,
lot of people already are aware of, right? So you might have been very good at hiding your drugs. Okay, you might have been amazing at it, and you've been doing it for 15 years, and you slipped up once, and that slip up is gonna get you in jail for forever.
yeah, that I feel like for that it's like, for instance, like he had these drugs. Now, was it for personal use or was it for the intent to sell? Like, do we have instances of him actually like making the charges, actually creating these plays in order to sell these drugs and securing these things that we can get him on? Do we have this instances of like, for instance, the video of Cassie leaving? Like, I really honestly wish they would have done. I know you're just like these specific counts and charges versus like a broader charge based off of one instance, but I do feel like they could have just done better as far as like what they were charging him with. That's all I have for that. I mean, overall, like everybody knows he's a terrible person, and I feel like this is not it for him. I feel like there's going to be more lawsuits that are going to be coming his way. I feel like this will probably create an environment and space for more people to come out and say like, "Hey," because first off, we never even got into these parties he be throwing. I've heard of some really bad things about these parties, but you know, did anybody get violated? What's going on there? Maybe people will come out and, say what they got to say. But I do feel like we lost a plot um, as far as where we were going, as far as charging him, because I think that people were so caught on to the details of his sexcapades with these women and his own personal doings. For instance, like this baby oil thing. People have been like, I don't know if you guys have caught it, but online, after the verdict has been read, someone went
These
viral.
motherfuckers.
Especially so, Armand Wiggins was he was a viral sensation after the Diddy verdict came out. When people video him pretty much dousing himself with baby oil, stating more oil, more oil. It's a baby oil party or whatever. And, people didn't really appreciate that because it's just like, why are you taking a moment like this and trying to make fun of it? Um, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Armand Wiggins. He's been one of the people that have been going to the trial and pretty much like recapping the things that have been going on. So I actually am familiar with his channel, and he is actually one of the people that I actually listen to because I was just like, okay, I'm listening to this trial and I'm really listening to all the details because he's actually very good at his job. When he was actually sitting down, he went to all of the days, all of the recounts, and just talked about everything. But he also added like a comedic flair. Now the whole baby oil thing, as far as like Cassie and all that other stuff, he was like more oil, more oil, more oil. And so he just every time he came on the screen, he would make a joke and sit down, greased up, and like, all right, contribute to the more oil fund, contribute to my Patreon so I can continue to go, contribute to my Cash App so I can continue coming to this like place. So he's considered part of the new media. And these are people that are social media influencers, people who are on YouTube. And these are the people that are recapping these cases. And this was just a part of his particular shtick. But unfortunately, this particular stunt was not well received. What did you guys think
I was
of that?
hoping that
Saw it.
somebody threw a match, a lighter, I don't even know if baby oil was flammable, but I was
What?
hoping somebody threw one on him because it's stupid, and it was just pretty much stupid. Even if you were not siding with Diddy, it was still stupid to do. Like, why even do that? Why even put yourself through that? That's the type of shit where it's just like niggas just need to stop doing nigga shit. Like, it was just insane to look at, and it really pissed me off. And I'm just looking like, see, that's why we're gonna be next being deported because niggas do shit like this, like this
They've
stupid
been
nigga
trying to
shit,
deport us for 400 years, baby. I'm like,
like
I don't know.
stupid shit like that. Like, no, like
People
it
need to
really pissed me
be
off.
more introspective and reflective over their behaviors, I think. Um, I was watching a video of someone interviewing a bunch of people who went to Chris Brown's, not to bring him into it, but Chris Brown's concert. Um, and I also was listening to the read, and I think they did a really great job of like just people are like when you ask them direct questions of like, okay, why are you here at the Chris Brown concert? I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't know, he's talented. I wish I had the video up playing so I could like just relay it. But people are just like, so what do you think of like all the things that he has done? I just separate the artist from the art, and he
I'd be like,
seems
he a
like
terrible person. Do not get in the room with him. Do
I mean,
not make him upset. He is crazy. Sorry, that's bogus because I'll say it how it is. But you can't tell nobody, no Chris Brown apologist that. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just like your support helps perpetuate a lot of things that keep happening. And I mean, I'm not like super like anti Chris Brown. Like I'm not like 1,000% like burn him at the stakes. Um, I don't invest financially in what he does. I'm not adding to like the downloads of like streams. It might come up on a playlist, or like it's the type of music that I feel like makes sense to show up on my playlists, and like is there. I think we all have the we should just think about what our actions do and how much it actually makes it easier or possible for other things to continue to happen. And like yeah, I definitely think he should sit down and be like, oh well, why am I doing this? And like what could someone who is watching this think about this? And who are the people who are funding him to even be able to throw the baby oil, and like why are y'all doing that? Yeah, I think we need to understand a little bit more as how we as individuals can either, you know, let something continue or be a part of, you know, bringing it down or making a change. Yeah, you know, I don't know. That's that. That's him.
I like it. I
I
like how
think
you articulated that. It was very, very thoughtful, very nice. But this is the reason why some women be like, "Yeah, I'll choose the bear." Shit like that. Like I get it now. I get why someone be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna choose the bear," because shit like the what I saw on my timeline of how many men defending this person, even after seeing the video, it's like y'all wonder why you don't get no pussy, or y'all wonder why women be like, "I'll stay in the woods with the bear." Like,
Wait, so there was guys defending this baby oil
no, they was
actions and don't
defending
know.
just Diddy. Period. Just
Oh,
like,
okay. No.
just being
Oh,
like,
why did one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, my group chat is so fucked up. Like, these are my cousins. You would not talk to me if I showed you this group chat." Literally, it's my coworker, the one that, yeah. So I was just like, don't tell me. Actually, don't even send me nothing because just don't. But he was just like, yeah, they're just being jerks and just really red pill. And I'm just like, no, here's the thing. Y'all gonna take the fact that he's not guilty as of like, as generally he's not guilty. Like everything that he's done is good. It's fine and dandy. No, he's only not guilty because they didn't fix the case where he could get those guilty charges. I hate when people just focus on like he's not guilty, as in everything that he's doing is good. Nobody
like
said
we
that.
didn't see a whole video of him.
Nobody said that. Y'all, I'm like, what? And now y'all are saying like, oh damn, like, oh yeah, fuck Cassie. Da, 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 da. I'm like, no, what you mean fuck Cassie? Y'all are so jealous of this girl for getting her payday and just pretty much standing up for herself. Because my thing is, it's so hard to do. This is why victims don't want to come out, because y'all make it so hard. And in this case, like, you would think that, hey, like there's a great chance, but unfortunately, there was no dice in this particular situation. Now he will still get something, but still, like, I don't know. I hate when people think like not guilty doesn't mean like everything you've done is like legal. I don't know. Does that make sense? Am I making sense when I'm speaking here?
No, you're making
are
sense.
Looking for a cosign on their behavior.
Poor behavior.
Well.
Yes.
Like, because they're like, wait, okay, hold on. So I saw him kick old girl down the hallway and drag her down, and he right, and because he's not getting the book thrown at him, that means that this is acceptable behavior. That's what I'm learning, right? Same with like the whole insurrection and everything else. Oh, what we are seeing is that this is acceptable behavior. Oh, when cops get off, okay, that is acceptable behavior. Like all these things are shaping how we view the world that we live in and how we should expect to exist and interact with people. And some people benefit more from this than others. And I think that's what it's really about. And I think that's where we start losing like focus. It's like, it is really okay to be rich and have a lot of power. That's what I hear. You can do anything you want when you are rich and have a lot of power. And the loopholes are specifically created so that you can survive, so that you get out of that ish, so that you can do it.
We'll talk about that more. Like, unfortunately, like that money actually does control a lot of things. And if you have a lot of money, you have a lot of pull. And it really sucks for the people at the bottom and the victims. But yeah.
I feel like I know we have a couple items still on the list. One headphone's already dying, and the other one's gonna die here shortly as well. So I feel like we should cut this politics.
Yeah, you want to go into bitch ass Trump? Y'all want to go into that?
Bitch ass Trump. Can I read this off? He's like, those are my cousins though, and I love them. They're not even young. They're all in their 30s, which makes it worse. I'm deaf the moral center of the group, and I be trying to trick them into having morally acceptable thoughts. Who even cares about Diddy though? I'm like,
Oh, he's just trying to get some pussy. I know what that is.
Right? Thanks. I
I
was
know
just
that.
saying. I was just like,
I know
I was
that.
like, who is?
I know what that is.
He likes me.
You should have said. You should have been like, "Yeah, let me see it. Let me see what you said." But yeah, that nigga
I actually
fucking
was
right with
gonna
me.
ask him. I really was gonna ask. Like, part of me was like, I am tempted to see these screenshots of this group chat, but I'm also like, I feel like this is gonna make me mad.
Nah, the fucking
So
screenshots. He gonna screenshot everything he didn't say. No, let me just look in there. Give me the phone. Give me the phone. But anyway, let's talk about your other half, Trump.
Oh, I wasn't even gonna do it. I was gonna wrap this up.
Oh
Y'all
shit!
still want to talk about it? Just because I'm like,
because yeah, OJ was not found not guilty, but
yeah, but they got him on the memorabilia shit. Like they gave him
that's something different. That's because they was
no, they gave him extra for that because it was just like
they was
that's
they
what I
was like,
wanted.
well,
That's what I
we
wanted.
go
To see for that's what I wanted to see for Diddy. Like, yeah, you
that's
got to get this shit for all the other shit.
somebody he gonna be walking out of the courthouse one day, and then somebody gonna pop his ass, and it's gonna be crazy.
Literally.
I mean, there's the whole witness who, what was that, the whole Suge Knight thing where she got shot in the face and he went down for it? Who did that?
Oh, he's talking
Shine.
about Shine.
Shine. Thank you.
Yeah, Shine.
Like,
his whole career was fucked up behind that.
Yeah, and she has been adamant the entire time that it was Diddy. It's Diddy. It's Diddy. It's Diddy. I've never changed my story when I was being sent to the hospital years after. Like, I've always said what it is. And that's why I'm like, I don't even think we need to. I don't even think if they would have presented the perfect evidence, people are going to just. People want to be Diddy. Unfortunately, people still are like, I want to be in his position. I want to be as powerful as he is. I want to have money like he has. I want to have sex and be free and, seem cool and blah, 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 blah. He's, a lifestyle curator. Okay. And so people want to be him, just like, I'd be riding for the people that I'd be supporting. People want to be him so bad. So they don't want to see someone that they aspire to be, want to be, treated in a way that they wouldn't want to receive. So I think ultimately that's where that issue is. Anyway,
that's crazy. I always knew, like, from the start, I was like, something about him don't seem too right. I would not do business with that man, even as a small child. Like, I just knew something was off with that man, and it's just like, now stuff is coming out, but it's just like, how do you just have these feelings about certain people? And they just carry a dark cloud around them. He gonna have his day. But yeah.
All right, an insightful episode. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being with us. Feel free to comment and engage in the conversation. We'd love your thoughts. You can follow all of us on social media. We have a Instagram and TikTok for the lovely podcast, just extra _podcast, where you can follow us and all the exciting things we have going on. You can follow us individually. We have Jackie at all things J. Jay is spelled out. I am Erica _stay ready. And Hassan is at Mr.Forbes. DOT, spell out that dot. Okay? Did we say rate, review, subscribe? All the things. Thank you so much. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
We're just being extra.